Previously on Power Reviews.
With database back, we've got a Power Ranger on our side.
You were sent to infiltrate Alphabet Soup, which crossed over into our world through an interdimensional rift.
They've been partnered with Alphabet Soup.
They're not human.
They needed access to my workstation while we were scattered across dimensions.
That portal gate is supposed to lead back home.
But not your home. Ours!
Our master.
The darkness.
The one who wears your face.
The landlord. Mayo's exorcism spell.
We got rid of the demons, defeated the Omega agents, and even got Alphabet Soup themselves to destroy the portal gate. The fluctuation in the cross-dimensional continuum triggered the temporal storm. All the agents at Alphabet Soup.
They're all gone.
And now, Database Rangers Power Review.
Greetings, Ranger fans, and welcome to the Going Away Party.
Gone? What do you mean, gone?
The whole place is completely empty. Guy thinks they executed what was it again?
Exodus Protocol.
Exodus. I'm not familiar with that protocol.
It was our fallback plan. If all else failed, return to the ship.
The ship? You mean the spaceship?
It was badly damaged when we came through the rift, and they've had people working to repair it ever since we first arrived. It was always intended as a last resort, though, only to be used if all other dimensional experiments failed.
Well, I'd say that unleashing an army of demons and nearly ending the world probably counts as a pretty big failure. So, are you saying that after all this, Alphabet Soup is just packing up and going home?
That's what it looks like.
It can't be that simple. Not after everything we've been through.
Hey, I'm not complaining. If those guys want to fly back to wherever it is they came from, that's fine with me.
There's got to be more to it than that. You said that the ship was damaged. How?
The rift has always been unstable. Even with heavy shielding, the dimensional currents nearly ripped us apart before we came through the other side. It's the reason the Exodus Protocol was always a last resort. It was considered too dangerous otherwise.
Yeah, but they'll be fine, right? I mean, you all made it through before.
I don't think so.
What do you mean?
I've been running algorithms to map out the temporal disruptions. The epicenter of the local storm may be at Alphabet Soup, but in order to generate patterns like these, there had to have been a secondary source. And thanks to the data collected on site by Mayo and Agent Y, I've been able to trace that secondary location to somewhere in high Earth orbit.
No.
Does that mean...
We found it! The rift! And it is teeming with temporal activity.
What does that mean?
Imagine the space-time continuum as a body of water. If we introduce another drop of liquid, it will ripple out from that point, but then quickly stabilize. Rain is another matter. Right now, it's just a drizzle, minor distortions across the board. But if something agitates the temporal storm cloud, it would be a torrential downpour unlike anything we've ever seen.
Should we...
Pack an umbrella?
Think arc.
I don't think I like this metaphor.
This is insane. I mean, we just blew through a year earlier today.
And that will seem like nothing more than a temporal hiccup if Alphabet Soup flies their ship through the rift and disrupts the tachyon cloud on the other side.
That sounds bad.
That sounds like an understatement.
Alright, we can handle this. All we need to do is get to Alphabet Soup and stop them from accidentally destroying the world. Again.
Are you guys sure that time storm hasn't hit yet? Because I am already getting a serious case of deja vu.
You're not the only one. This is just like... Actually, Kay?
What?
I've got an idea. Armored ship, impending doom. Sound familiar?
Of course!
What's going on?
We've got a plan. This is going to be just like episode 18 of Power Rangers RPM. Belly of the Beast.
You see, Dr. K was debriefing Colonel Truman, Corporal Hicks, and the RPM Rangers on Vengeance's new massive armored aerial attack vehicle.
Wait, are you saying the K had her own ranger team?
Oh, yeah, did we never mention that?
No.
Huh, I would have thought that would have come up before now.
Can we please stay focused on what's important here?
Oh, right, I'll just switch things over to internal monologue.
So while Ziggy tries to find the good news in the midst of the 200mm laser cannons, dual drone landing strips, and the frequency scrambling shield buster, Scott and the others make plans to destroy the factory where it's being built.
Ooh, we can use a neutronic detonator?
To blow up the entire factory compound! We can't just blow it up. Dylan's sister might still be in there.
Yeah, not to mention all the other workers.
Thank you. Now, first things first. Agent Y, I trust you can get us the location and specifications of the ship?
Location, yes. But the specs were wiped from the Soup servers when they cleared out.
We have those.
On our home server.
Just let us know when.
It's boom time!
We'll get them.
Right away. It'll be fun.
Do those two remind you of anyone?
Love.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm sure it's just my imagination.
Please focus. We need you to clear a path to the ship. If Agent Y's accounting is correct, the ship will be too heavily shielded for a direct teleport.
Just let me know where you need me.
Excellent.
What about me? How can I help?
You're our backup in case things escalate.
Great. You need me hacking or spellcasting?
We need your cat.
What, Zagger?
Quickly, please. Agent Y?
Right.
Okay. Then I guess I'll be right back.
As the Rangers prepare to roll out, Venjix makes plans of his own back at his palace, completing the new and improved Sawbot Generation 16, fully equipped with all the data that the Sawbot Generation 15 collected before its destruction. Because, as he assures a very skeptical Tanaya 7, he totally meant to do that.
Let me guess. It's now invincible?
Invincible enough to destroy the Rangers.
But before Mary, Queen of Sass, can school her boss on the meaning of the word invincible, the alarms go off, alerting them to the arrival of a human raiding party in Sector 17.
We're back!
I've, got my cat.
Excellent.
Outside the Sector 17 factory, Flynn and Summer scout out the site for Scott, who rallies together the rest of the team with Papa Truman's troops.
Okay, everybody listen up.
Yes, sir.
Our primary objective is to destroy the new Venjix Doomsday weapon.
Everyone ready? Now, our primary objective...
Wait a sec. That thing is an LCD screen?
Of course. What did you think it was?
I don't know. Why have we never used it to do reviews?
Because the couch is facing the television. As I was saying, our primary objective is to prevent the entry of the Alphabet Soup starship into the interdimensional rift orbiting Earth. In order to do this, it is imperative that we reach the ship before it launches. Diplomacy will be our first course of action, but should that fail, we will need to be prepared to either sabotage the ship or hijack control ourselves. Mayo, that's where you come in.
Please tell me you're not gonna hurt my cat.
Don't be ridiculous. Your Zagger will be perfectly fine. Now, seeing as how the shielding surrounding the ship will be preventing any form of long-range communication or teleportation, let's review our entrances and exits.
While Jem and Gemma are hyped to get in, get out, and blow the place to smithereens, Dylan is quick to remind them that no one says boom until his sister and the rest of the workers are free.
Then we're clear. Get the civilians out, then we blow the factory before that thing launches.
Any questions?
I have one.
What if we reach a point in the operation where we must choose between the fate of the prisoners, including Ranger Black's sister, and the fate of the last human city left on Earth?
What if we can't make them stop? Would we have to...
I think what database means is, if all else fails, do we crash the ship?
With all of Alphabet Soup still on board, we can't do that, can we?
Let's hope it doesn't come to that.
I've never been one for debating ethics or making complicated moral judgment calls.
So in other words, we're not going to answer that question.
At least the Rangers have the luxury of their moral dilemma being interrupted by the arrival of the Gen 16 Sawbot. Truman's troops try taking a shot at it, but after their weapons prove to be about as effective as ever, it's up to the Rangers to dive into action.
Is everybody ready then? In that case, I think you know what time it is.
For the first time today, you bet I do. It's morphin' time. Let's go save the planet.
This is going to be so fun!
The Rangers go baton to blade against the Sawbot, while Jem and Gemma decide to have some unmorphed fun against the Grinders, with Truman's troops backing them up and even the Colonel himself getting in on the action. Well, if you want something done right... You apparently set loose the Boom Happy twins on the monster that just took down 5 Rangers and have them blow it to pieces with easily the most epic reaction face of all time.
Hi!
With Venjix's forces temporarily defeated, they all rally back together to move in on the factory before security has a chance to regroup. What are you two doing?
We're helping!
Look, we're supposed to be going in there quietly. Quietly. Just stay here and wait for my signal, okay?
Okay.
All the Rangers once again remorph to stealthily take down the grinders guarding the factory, once again with the exception of Jem and Gemma, who seem to be having a great time regardless. Once the guards are cleared out, Scott unites his team to assign tasks.
Alright guys, the coast is clear. Move in.
Man, that takes a lot out of you.
Did Zachar get a new collar?
Let's stay focused.
Summer's entrusted with the detonator, Flynn and Ziggy will get the prisoners to safety, Scott and Dylan will set the charges, and Jem and Gemma...
Hey! Good luck, guys! We have
our own instructions from Dr. K!
Where are Mr. and Mrs. Moore-Potzner?
They're by the entrance, waiting on our signal.
Fine then. You know what to do?
Yep. I'll take care of the ship. You four, get to mission control.
Let's get moving then.
The Rangers split up, with Scott, Dylan, and Summer heading inside to set the charges all along the primary reactor. Unfortunately for them, though, they're quickly set upon by grinders, with their old friend the Sawbot making a guest appearance for round 2.
If I remember right, mission control should be right this way. Agent R.
While Summer and Dylan keep the attack bot occupied, Scott heads off to set the charges, as Jem and Gemma tackle their super top secret mission to counter Vendrix's doomsday technology head on.
What was the signal again?
But Vendrix isn't happy about the foreign DNA base code being uploaded into the factory mainframe, and immediately commands the launch of the doomsday ship.
Agent Y, Subjects K, what are you doing here?
We need to get to mission control.
And why should I help you do that?
Because we can't let that ship leave Earth.
What are you talking about?
There's a tachyon storm brewing on the other side of that rift. If the ship reaches the event horizon...
Our Alpha is on that ship. We just said goodbye. Follow me.
Summer and Dylan do their best to buy Scott time to plant the engine cell-styled charges, but before long, Ranger Black is forcibly demorphed by the Sawbot, and Ranger Yellow expends the last of her power on a Chi energy blast. With only moments left to go before the launch, it's decision time, and Summer puts the choice in Dylan's hands.
Summer, what do you want me to do?
Whatever you think is right, I'll keep this thing busy.
Yeah, with his sister's life possibly on the line, probably not the best person to be left in charge of that.
What's our status, Dr. C?
Oh, everything is coming along swimmingly. Nearly all of our agents are in cryostasis, and we should be prepared to launch shortly.
I wouldn't do that if I were you. You see...
Move! Yes, ma'am!
Wait!
Emergency override. Intruder on board. Initiating containment procedure.
You need to listen to me! But before Dylan can make his life or death decision, the choice is taken away from him, as Scott's command to blow the factory is immediately countermanded by Dr. K's mandate that the doomsday weapon be allowed to clear the hangar.
Trust me, I know what I'm doing. More or less.
So what should I do?
Accelerate our schedules. Seal all exits.
And the Phantom Ranger?
Those doors are heavily shielded. He should be fully contained and unable to escape.
Good work, Madam Secretary. With the Phantom Ranger contained, maybe this excursion isn't such a loss after all.
Thank you, sir.
Now let's bring our people home.
Meanwhile, Flynn and Ziggy clear the last of the civilian workers from the factory, just as the Doombot takes to the skies and Summer manages to miraculously fend off the Sawbot, queuing up Dylan to activate the remote detonator, toss it aside for dramatic effect, and escape with Summer just before the whole factory is blown sky high.
Belgium is that?
Ugh, emergency override. This ship is taking off now.
Then why are we stopping?
Because nothing short of a direct order from the directors can stop the launch now.
And where are the directors?
They're already on board.
Dylan and Summer rejoin the others, but when Ranger Black doesn't immediately spot his long-lost sister, who he literally would not recognize if she were staring right at him among the slew of identically dressed people with their backs to him, he decides to ignore Flynn's claim that they got everyone out and run straight back into the burning building, with Summer once again trailing behind him. Scott tries contacting Jem and Gemma to intercept, but unfortunately they've got their own problems to deal with.
Hurry! Hang on. I've done a lot of teleporting today.
Hi! Is that a signal?
Working together, the Boom Happy twins morph to take on the stubbornly surviving Sawbot one last time, finally blowing it to pieces with their Skyshift blazers. But as one might expect, things aren't over yet, as Tanaya initiates the download to make the attack bot grow, just as the Doom bot reaches the domed city of Corinth and begins raining down some good old-fashioned doom from above.
Move!
Dr. K, I hope you know what you're doing.
Why does everyone keep saying that? Of course I am aware of what I am doing. I just have absolutely no idea of whether or not it will work.
What are you two doing? The autopilot server is this way.
We know. We're on our way.
To the engine room.
Just in case.
In case of what?
In case we don't succeed.
Do what you have to do, but only if you have to. Come on, everyone. We're running out of time.
The shield will experience full system failure in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Got it.
Right this way.
Just as the Doombot and drones breach the shield, Gem and Gemma's upload finally takes hold, and Dr. K is able to successfully take control of the ship, turning it against Venjix's flying forces.
I had Gem and Gemma reprogram it with the base DNA code for a blue whale.
Yeah, but why a whale? I mean, they don't even fly. Well, just the whole thing seems kind of like a stretch.
Excellent. Male, bring me the cat.
Right.
What's the deal with the cat?
I have no idea.
Would you prefer I program it back into a deadly shield-busting Venjix Doomsday weapon, Ranger Green?
But all banter aside, they're not out of the woods yet, because even as their new Doom Whale takes out the rest of the drones with a 10-second attack bird configuration, the Sawbot makes its way into the city, and with its enhanced memory upgrades, none of their Zords can even hope to stand a chance. Thank you, Technopathy. With no other options, Kay decides to send in a new formation that the attack bot hasn't seen before, ordering Gem and Gemma to combine their Zords with the conveniently compatible new Whale Zord to create the brand new Mach Megazord.
It has no idea what to make of us.
Now it's time to put that new collar to work.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
And with a final energy arrow attack, the Generation 16 Sawbot is sawdust.
Just like riding a tricycle.
But while everyone else is celebrating victory, Dylan and Summer are still trapped in the factory, as she refuses to leave him, believing that he's worth saving, until they suddenly realize that there is no escape, coming in close for a steamy embrace. Hey.
Hey.
And promptly getting drenched with cold water as the Whale Zord sprays down the factory with its otherwise totally functionless blowhole. Now safe, Gem and Gemma are quick to join them, revealing that they were standing right in the middle of his sister's cell, where no trace of her is left behind, except for a small key on a chain, much like the one that winds his locket, a clue that his long search is still far from over. And that's the end of the episode. So, what did I think of it? Well,
we're nearing the rift. If you're going to do something, I suggest you do it now.
What on earth are you?
Got it!
This is an episode all about snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. In many ways, it's a turning point for the season. To be fair, a big part of that is because it marked the last episode to have involvement from Eddie Gazelian, the showrunner behind the creation of Power Rangers RPM, before veteran writer Judd Lynn was brought in to complete work on the series. But beyond that, it is the culmination of the first major story arc to follow the 11-episode introduction of the world and its characters. Small events pile on top of each other to pay off in a big way. What began with an attack bot from Dylan's past triggered the revelation of the Venjix virus overtaking his system, leading to the Rangers discovering Dr. K's involvement in creating the virus, leading them to delving into his past, following a trail of false memories that inadvertently led them to Gem and Gemma, who in turn created a shift in the team dynamics that led to Scott coming into conflict with his father, pushing them all to go on the offensive, and ultimately leading them to the factory that acts as the centerpiece of this episode. A stone dropped in the pond ripples outwards, and everything changes. Many of the characters are not the same as when they started their journey. ranging from Scott growing as a leader in his father's eyes, to Summer's relationship with Dylan, to Dylan's discovery of the existence of his lost sister, to Jem and Gemma opening Dr. K's heart, and all of that comes to a head in this episode, combined with the returned and enhanced threat of the Sawbot, the looming inevitability of the Doomsday Weapon, and the many innocent lives hanging in the balance, to create the Rangers' greatest challenge yet, physically, mentally, psychologically, and morally. Of course, there's always the other side of things. Although bringing up the question of whether or not to sacrifice the workers for the safety of Corinth, and placing that decision in Dylan's hands when he's clearly so intent on protecting his sister, does push things into a morally gray area rarely ever explored in the franchise, they never really address these debates, instead choosing to sidestep them with good intentions and plot convenience. And beyond that, even though reprogramming the Doomsday Weapon makes logical sense as a resolution to the plot, since the Bio Foundation infusing the Rangers' weapons and Zords seems to implicitly protect them from Venjic's control, the convenience of its compatibility with Jem and Gemma's Zords, along with the ease with which the unmorphed Rangers repeatedly fend off the supposedly improved Sawbot, does tend to strain credulity. Overall, despite a few contrivances and questionable debates of morality, this is a strong episode that not only builds on the momentum of episodes preceding it, but also injects action, humor, suspense, emotion, and impressively manages to resolve it all while simultaneously carrying the story forward to the next chapter. Either way, one thing's for sure. After this, things will never be quite the same.
What did you just do to this ship?